You've prayed, you've purged, you've waited until waiting turned into worship. But there is a moment on every twin flame path when longing can't take you any further. You don't get more signs. You don't get more proof. You get a door, not a door you chase, a door that opens inside your body. This is the love portal. It's the instant your nervous system stops bracing for what might leave and begins preparing for what will stay. It's where your heart stops bargaining for crumbs and starts choosing coherence over chemistry. It's where you stop auditioning for a future and start inhabiting the frequency that future requires. On the other side, you don't run after him. You stop running and the field runs toward you. Crossing isn't dramatic. It's precise. It sounds like a longer exhale. It feels like your shoulders dropping when you tell the truth and refuse to shrink. It looks like answering the pull without abandoning yourself, holding your softness with edges, your love with shape, your yes with a spine. Here is the quiet secret no one tells you. The portal opens the moment you refuse to perform love to keep it. When you bless what's real and release what's fantasy, the timelines rearrange. The masculine doesn't meet you because you reached farther. He meets you because you rose higher. You'll know you're at the threshold when the chase feels foreign, when silence feels like weather, not punishment, when your body relaxes around the truth, even if your mind wants a louder story. That's the invitation, not to wait prettier, to cross. And when you do, the old bonds lose magnetism. Rescue falls away, pressure dissolves. Your presence becomes the signal, not your effort. Your peace becomes the proof, not your pain. Tonight, I'm not here to give you another sign. I'm here to hand you the handle. Breathe. Let the mind stand down. Let the heart unlearn hurry. Step through as the woman who no longer negotiates. Her value to be chosen, because the love that's meant to live won't ask you to get smaller first. It will meet you at the altitude you finally decided to hold. This is the portal. Cross it and watch the universe cross to meet you. What the love portal really is, it isn't a place you travel to. It's a frequency you become. The love portal isn't a doorway in front of you. It's a doorway inside your body that opens when you stop performing love to keep it and start living love as your baseline. You don't cross by hustling harder for signs. You cross when your nervous system stops bracing for loss and begins preparing for presence. This is why chasing never worked. Chasing tells your body, what I want is far and scarce. The portal teaches the opposite. What's meant to stay can find me because I can hold it. Crossing begins with coherence, breath that leads the room instead of reacting to it, truth that lands without apology, softness that keeps its edges. It feels less like fireworks and more like a long, clean exhale you didn't know you were holding. Have you noticed how different your chest feels when you tell the truth and refuse to shrink? The portal is not romance, it's regulation. Chemistry will spike and fade. Coherence remains. When your system is coherent, love stops being an event and becomes a climate. Silence returns to weather, not punishment. Space stops reading like danger. Your body stops scanning the horizon for proof and starts reading the present for resonance. That's when the field reorganizes around you without you pushing a single thing. Crossing looks ordinary from the outside. You choose the boundary that keeps you whole instead of the story that keeps you busy. You answer slowly enough for your body to speak first. You bless real effort and stop feeding fantasy with attention. You let people show you who they are without editing yourself into their comfort. You stop trying to earn what is already yours by frequency. The masculine won't meet you because you begged better. He will meet you because you stabilized higher. Notice how the portal refuses bargains. It will not open to "I'll love myself" when he arrives. It opens to "I love myself now." So anything that arrives must agree with that love. It will not open to timelines made of anxiety. It opens to rhythm, sleep that actually restores, food that keeps you here, conversations that return you to yourself. It will not open to rescue. It opens to responsibility. The quiet decision to stop outsourcing your peace to someone else's pace. You'll know you're at the threshold when the old highs feel loud and thin, and the new quiet feels dense and kind. The chase becomes foreign. The need to explain everything dissolves. Your body accepts that wanting isn't a problem. Abandoning yourself to satisfy it is. So you begin to love in proportion to truth. You stay open without leaking. You stay warm without going liquid. You stay receptive without surrendering your shape. The portal is also a mirror. It shows you what must be set down so your hands are free to receive. Fantasy bonds, savior roles, the habit of calling adrenaline signs. It's not punishment to let these go, it's permission to breathe. Every time you choose rest over rumination, clarity over performance, presence over prediction, the hinges loosen a little more. Do you feel how much simpler life becomes when you stop negotiating your value with the future? On the other side, love doesn't feel like a cliff you jump from. It feels like ground you can stand on. Your yes becomes light and exact. Your no becomes steady and kind. The field between you and the masculine thickens in the best way. Less spark, more ember, less hunger, more home. He doesn't have to be perfect to reach you. He has to be regulated enough to remain. And because you crossed, you can tell the difference without drama. You don't cross by trying harder. You cross by trusting deeper. Trusting your breath to lead. Trusting your body to know. Trusting that the life you build in truth will magnetize what agrees with it and release what can't. When you bless what's real and stop feeding what isn't, the portal recognizes its keeper. It opens the way rivers do, without strain, with inevitability. So, no, this isn't about getting him to move. It's about becoming the place he can meet without you moving out of yourself. Step through as the woman whose peace is proof, whose presence is invitation, whose love has learned to stay with her first. The door is not ahead. It's in the way you breathe, choose, and speak right now. And once you cross, you won't wonder whether you did. You'll feel the room change and realize it wasn't the room at all. It was you. Before the portal opens in your field, it opens in your body, not with fireworks, but with a single, honest thing: safety. When the body does not feel safe, it bargains, performs, scans the horizon for threat, and calls it love. When the body feels safe, it tells the truth and lets love land. This is why the crossing is never mental. It's cellular. It's the moment your system stops rehearsing goodbye and starts preparing to stay. Safety is not the absence of intensity. It's the presence of regulation. Feel the difference. One keeps you bracing. The other lets your ribs soften and your eyes come home to the room you're in. Start there. Let your exhale be a little longer than your inhale until your shoulders drop without being asked. Let your jaw unclench. Let your belly be included. The mind will try to negotiate. The breath does not negotiate. It reminds your body that you are here, that you are held, that nothing true requires you to rush. Coherence is what happens when all the parts of you agree. Your thoughts stop running ahead. Your heart stops lagging behind. Your body steps into the same rhythm your soul has been humming for months. In coherence, silence is weather again, not punishment. Space loses its panic. You stop checking for proof and start listening for resonance. Does this make me more me? Does my breath deepen in this presence? The portal recognizes that kind of honesty. It opens a little wider each time you choose it. You will notice how ordinary this looks from the outside. You move slower than your fear wants you to. You answer after your body speaks, not before. You let your yes be light and exact, your no be steady and kind. You eat so you can feel, not so you won't. You sleep to arrive, not to escape. You put your phone down when your spirit is mid-sentence. None of this is performative, it's devotional. Frequency is built in these small covenants with yourself. Old reflexes will try to visit. The reflex to chase, to prove, to interpret every quiet as danger. When you catch them, don't punish yourself. Regulate yourself. Soften your gaze and orient. Walls, window, the weight of your feet, the sound in the distance. Let the room become real again. Say one true sentence out loud, even if it's small. I'm here. I'm safe. I will not leave myself to be loved. Feel how the nervous system loosens when it hears you telling the truth without drama. This is also where you retire the habit of using chemistry to override clarity. Chemistry spikes, coherence stays. If the pull is loud, but your body shrinks, that's data. If the moment is quiet, but your breath lengthens and your shoulders drop, that's data too. The portal answers to data, not fantasy. And the most trusted instrument you own is the way your chest feels when you stop pretending. You don't have to fix the past to be ready. You have to stop rehearsing it. Let grief finish when it rises. Tears that come without a story are just the body washing the doorway. Let desire be named without turning it into the pressure. Let longing be a visitor, not your landlord. Each time you allow a feeling to complete its arc, your system learns that intensity isn't fatal and intimacy isn't a cliff. The portal widens because there's finally room to walk through. What about him? The body first crossing changes how you relate to his energy. You stop grabbing at the current and start letting it move. You feel the late night brush of his field, and instead of sprinting into story, you breathe until the wave passes. You stop translating his process for him. You stop outsourcing your peace to his pace. Ironically, this is what makes you most reachable. The energy he's learning to carry can now find a regulated place to land. There's a softness that arrives when you trust your body more than your anxious mind. You become less interested in timelines and more devoted to truth time. Does this hold tomorrow as gently as it holds tonight? Do I wake clearer after contact? Do I need to recover from closeness, or does it return me to myself? Your answers don't need to be poetic. They need to be honest. Honesty is coherence. Coherence is the key card. Crossing the love portal is not about becoming unbreakable. It's about becoming inhabited. You live in your chest again. You let your back be a back. You speak in a tone that your body believes. You stay soft without going shapeless. You welcome without abandoning the one doing the welcoming. And from that place, union is no longer a miracle you chase. It's a life that can finally stay. So breathe. Let the exhale lead. Let the room be simple. Let your presence be the proof you've been asking the universe to send. The portal is not out there waiting to be found. It is here, opening each time you choose the safety that makes truth possible and the coherence that makes love durable. Fantasy is the counterfeit of faith. It looks like hope, but it spends most of its time asking reality to be somewhere else. It dresses adrenaline as signs, writes a movie in your head, and then punishes your body for not keeping up with the script. Rescue is its favorite subplot. If you work harder, wait prettier, suffer louder, he'll change faster. And when the change doesn't arrive on schedule, timeline pressure tightens the chest and calls it momentum. None of this crosses the portal. It keeps you rehearsing an arrival that your nervous system isn't resourced to receive. So tonight, we lay them down with precision, not drama. Start by naming the bond for what it is. A fantasy is any connection that requires you to abandon your present self to maintain a future story. If you must shrink your truth, hide your need, or upgrade your pain into poetry to make it worth it, you're paying for a mirage with real breath. Rescue is similar. It's love trying to earn safety by managing someone else's pace. Notice how both moves convert your life into waiting rooms, rooms where you either audition or apologize. Coherence doesn't live there. Your body does not open a door it cannot live behind. A practical severing, return borrowed energy. Whisper it if you have to. I release the parts of me living in a future that hasn't been chosen. I bless what is real and let what is not real dissolve without punishment. Then bring your attention back to the simplest facts your body trusts. Is my breath longer on the exhale? Does my chest soften when I tell the truth? These are not cute affirmations. They're biometric data. Chemistry spikes and confuses. Coherence collects and clarifies. Timeline pressure tricks you into chasing a clock instead of inhabiting a frequency. It says, by Friday, before the eclipse, after his next awakening, as if love could be forced into an itinerary. The portal doesn't answer dates, it answers density. When your system is dense with presence, sleep that restores, food that keeps you here, movement that lets emotion complete, you become reachable in a way the calendar cannot counterfeit. Union lands where there is room to stay. If you've been keeping score, message counts, response times, who initiated last, gently set the ledger down. Replace it with 3 clean measures. After contact, do I feel more honest, more here, more myself? If yes, the connection is agreeing with coherence. If not, you are subsidizing fantasy. 2 questions are enough to keep you aligned. Does this make me leave my body to believe in it? Do I need to abandon my boundaries to keep it moving? Rescue patterns dissolve when you stop translating his process for him. You don't cushion him from the truth you're living. You don't send warmth you can't afford. You don't explain his silences to yourself as if your peace depends on it. You let him carry his own arc, not as punishment, as respect. Respect for his path and for your nervous system, which refuses to host what it must heal from afterwards. Curiously, this is the point at which many masculines feel you most clearly, not because you're louder, but because your field is finally signal without static. Take inventory of where pressure hides. It hides in just checking in. It hides in the outfit you'd never wear if you weren't afraid of being forgotten. It hides in spiritualized ultimatums. If he were really my twin, he would have insert timeline. Lift the veil. Pressure is fear asking to be disguised as devotion. Devotion in the portal is quieter. It is your yes being exact and your no being kind. It is answering after your body speaks. It is loving what's true enough to stop financing what's not. Practical ways to end the subsidy. Unfollow the countdown content that spikes hope and crashes your regulation. Stop rereading old messages for meaning they weren't built to hold. Put the phone down when your breath says, I'm mid-sentence. Write the rescue script, the one where you fix, wait, prove, and then burn it or bury it. Rituals aren't magic. They're memory for your body. We don't live there anymore. What happens in the field when you do this? The noise falls out of the connection. Pings feel like pings, not prophecies. Silence returns to weather, not punishment. You stop interpreting every twitch as a timeline and start measuring everything by whether your system can remain open without leaking. From the outside, it looks uneventful. From the inside, you feel 4 inches taller and 2 pounds lighter. That's what happens when you stop asking love to be a rescue and start letting it be a room you can actually breathe in. This goodbye to fantasy isn't a goodbye to desire. Desire is welcome here. It just doesn't get to drive with a blindfold on. You can want union cleanly I want a love that can remain. Then let your days agree with that sentence. Food that steadies you, conversations that return you to yourself, boundaries that keep you whole. Watch how timelines soften when you stop threatening yourself with them. The field reorganizes around truth like iron to a magnet. You don't force it, you become it. So bless what's real. Release the countdown. Retire the rescuer. Hold your softness with edges, your openness with form. If the connection is true, it will meet you at this altitude. And if it doesn't, that's not the loss you think it is. It's the proof you asked for, delivered in kindness instead of crisis. Receptivity without shape leaks. Shape without receptivity hardens. The portal asks for both. Softness with edges, openness with form. This is the place where your yes remains warm but becomes exact, and your no stops sounding like a shutdown and starts feeling like a doorway. Boundaries here are not defenses, they are design. They tell the field what can enter and what must wait, not as punishment, as stewardship. Coherence is the architecture. Love is the climate that can finally live inside it. There are 3 common patterns at this threshold. The first is leaking openness. You stay available to everything so you won't miss anything and end up missing yourself. The second is armored openness. You announce how soft you are while building invisible tests no one can pass. Intimacy becomes a maze. The third is coherent receptivity. You let in what you can hold. You release what you can't without theatrics, and you stay in relationship with your breath while you choose. The portal recognizes only the third, because only coherence can keep what union brings. How does receptivity get shape? Start by separating requests, standards, and consequences. A request is what you invite. I'd love a slower, real conversation tomorrow. A standard is what you live. I don't do 2am anxiety loops by text. A consequence is what you enact without threat. If this stays erratic, I'll step back to stay honest with myself. You don't say it to control the other. You say it to stay coherent in front of yourself. Notice how the nervous system steadies when your words match your capacity. That steadiness is the doorframe. Tactically, shape looks ordinary. You answer after your body speaks. You leave your phone when your breath lengthens and your spirit is mid-sentence. You name the rhythm you can keep. I'm closing my night now. I'll respond in the morning. You refuse to sponsor ambivalence. If the connection alternates between flooding and famine, you don't adjust your valve to survive it. You stabilize your setting and let the field decide whether it can meet you there. This is not control, it's climate maintenance. A boundary inside the portal is not a wall. It's an agreement with your own nervous system. Ask your chest before you answer, does my breath deepen at the thought of saying yes? Do my shoulders drop when I say no? If your body collapses, the answer is already here. If your body expands, you've found a shape that can hold you. Have you noticed how different your tone becomes when your body believes your words? There is a myth that boundary push the masculine away. In truth, clear shape is the only thing the healthy masculine can land on. Static invites guessing. Coherence invites approach. When you state your timing, your tenderness, your edges, you remove the game the wounded masculine knows and offer the ground the healing masculine needs. He doesn't feel policed. He feels the altitude. He either ascends to meet it, or the field reveals that he won't. Information, not a verdict. Practice micro boundaries that build macro stability. Time. Set windows for contact that protect sleep and sanity. Attention. Give full presence or none. Stop paying with fragments. Body. Eat before hard conversations. Regulate before revisiting rupture. End a call when your breath shortens instead of rescuing it with performance. Meaning, stop excavating hidden messages from crumbs. Ask for clean clarity or bless the absence of it. Each micro-boundary is a stitch. Enough stitches make a life that doesn't split under weight. Shape also changes the way you send warmth. Unshaped warmth tries to convince. Shaped warmth witnesses. You can say, I care about you and I'm not available for this pattern. You can hold a door without dragging anyone through it. You can love someone's becoming and still decline their pacing. When you bless what is real and withdraw energy from what is incoherent, you are not being cold. You are refusing to subsidize confusion with your nervous system. There's a subtle reframe worth claiming. Boundaries are not what keep people out. They are what keep you in. In your body, your truth, your life. Without them, desire outsources itself to conditions you can't control and calls it destiny. With them, desire becomes a current that moves through a defined riverbed. The water doesn't shrink because it has banks. It gains velocity because it has direction. What used to feel like pressure starts reading as in flow. If fear rises, the one that says, if I'm this clear, I'll lose him, meet it with data. When you abandoned your shape, did the story actually stabilize? Did chasing produce union or adrenaline? What happens in your body when you imagine loving without leaving yourself? The mind predicts loss. The body often predicts relief. Relief is not indifference. It is oxygen returning so love can breathe. A few scripts for the doorway, spoken in the tone your body believes. A few scripts for the doorway, spoken in the tone your body believes. I'm available for contact that leaves me more regulated after. I don't respond to urgency that our connection didn't create. I'm here for truth even if it changes the plan. If the pace gets erratic, I'll slow down to stay honest with myself. These are not ultimatums, they are coordinates. They tell the field and your cells where to find you. As shape settles, receptivity gets quieter and more precise. You feel the difference between a pull that empties and a pull that anchors. You answer the late night brush of energy with breath, not bargaining. You stay soft without going shapeless, warm without going liquid, open without going missing. The portal widens because your life can now hold what it asked for, and the field, noticing a steadiness it can trust, begins to reorganize accordingly. Altitude isn't a metaphor. It's your regulated state held long enough for the field to trust it. From here, the masculine doesn't meet performance, he meets climate. He doesn't need a louder invitation. He needs a place where his emerging coherence can land without being dragged, decoded, or tested. That's why your steadiness matters more than any strategy. Hunger used to call him. Harmony orients him. And your harmony now has tight edges. Approach arrives less like spectacle and more like orientation maneuvers. A simple ping, a practical question, a memory surfacing late at night. He isn't fishing for crumbs. He's calibrating for safety. Safety to a healthy masculine reads as clarity, continuity, and consequence without theatrics. When warmth appears with a handle, timing, truth, and pace, he can reach for it. When warmth appears without a handle, he orbits. Your role isn't to make the landing easy, it's to make it real. Reward clarity, not adrenaline. Answer from your body, not your anticipation. When a message arrives, listen to breath before scanning history. Do you open when you imagine engaging? And can you remain open afterward without needing to recover from closeness? If yes, proceed. If no, slow the scene until your system is present enough to be honest. Communication at this altitude sounds like coordinates spoken in a tone your body believes. I'm available for a call tomorrow after 6. I want contact that leaves us more regulated after. I'm not available for intermittent intensity. If it stays erratic, I'll step back to remain truthful with myself. There's no edge and no audition in these lines. They tell the field and your cells that the air here is breathable, old reflexes will rise, explaining his silence for him, rushing to prevent imagined misunderstanding, turning one clean pull into a 20-step plan. Meet those reflexes with data instead of drama. Did rescuing ever produce stability or just spikes? Did accelerating turn uncertainty into union or only into exhaustion? Your body keeps score more accurately than the mind's storyline. Let the exhale lead and answer at its pace. When he's actually meeting you here, you'll notice less promise and more pattern. Fewer grand gestures, more small repairs. He tells you where he is without making you manage it. He asks what pace your system can keep, and then keeps it. Attraction stays, but the voltage drops into something livable. Less spark for spark's sake, more ember you can cook a life over. Offer bridges, not tests. A test says, prove you can guess my shape. A bridge says, here is my shape. If you cross this way, you'll find me. Bridges sound like, I prefer voice for real topics. I don't do late night back and forth. Mornings work better for me. If something goes off, I'd rather we repair the same day than disappear. Remove the game, and willingness reveals itself. If contact arrives wrapped in fog, hot then cold, urgent then absent, resist translating, invite clarity once, cleanly. If it comes, the field thickens. If it doesn't, bless the gap and keep your altitude. This isn't indifference. It's stewardship of a nervous system finally configured to keep what it asks for. The portal doesn't respond to pressure. It responds to truth kept over time. 3 anchors hold you while the field reorganizes. Time, attention, honesty. Guard restoration so altitude doesn't collapse when sleep does. Give whole presence or none so your body stops training for scarcity. Say the smallest true thing rather than the largest flattering one. Your system relaxes when words and capacity rhyme. Desire becomes quieter and cleaner here. Wanting no longer arrives with panic. It arrives with direction. You can say, I want this connection, without converting that sentence into pressure. You can name what would make it livable without making love conditional. Clean wanting is readable. It allows the masculine to approach without performing and to remain without guessing. When his old pattern brushes your new air, you don't punish or parent, you orient. This pace tightens my chest. I'm slowing down. If you'd like to continue, let's choose a time that keeps us steady. This doesn't agree with my body today. I'm stepping back. Endings, when needed, become humane. Not doors slammed, doors named. Run a simple field check after any contact by listening for 3 signals in your body: breath that is longer, presence that is clearer, selfhood that is more intact. If 2 of the 3 are there, you stayed at altitude while meeting him. If not, you paid with regulation for a hit of hope. Adjust kindly and keep the air you've earned. Here is the quiet paradox. The clearer your shape, the easier you are to meet. Not because you bend, but because you can be found. The masculine does not need perfection to step in. He needs parameters that let him stay. When you hold them without heat, you offer the ground he's been trying to grow. If he's ready, you'll feel the room thicken around you. If he isn't, you'll feel your peace remain. And that too is the field telling the truth. When you cross, nothing explodes. The room doesn't cheer. The sky doesn't send confetti. It's quieter than that, cleaner than that. A shift you feel first in your ribs and only later in your mind. The portal opens like a door you thought was a wall, and you realize it was never in front of you. It was always in the way you breathe, choose, and speak. You don't force it. You consent to it. You let your body stop rehearsing goodbye and start preparing to stay. Crossing is not a stunt, it's a stewardship. It sounds like a longer exhale, like eating before the conversation that matters, like closing your night on purpose so tomorrow can find you with a clear chest. It looks like answering at the speed of your breath instead of the speed of your fear. It feels like being inside your yes with edges and inside your no with kindness. You become traceable in your own life. The field recognizes that signature faster than any prayer you could shout. You do not abandon desire at the threshold. You purify it. Desire without rescue becomes guidance. Wanting without timeline becomes warmth. You can say, "I want union," and your body doesn't flinch because union is no longer the cliff. It's a climate you're already creating. The masculine meets you here not because you begged better, but because you stabilized higher. And if he cannot remain, the door you opened for love is the same door that lets fantasy leave without taking your peace with it. There will be tests, but they won't look like lightning. They'll look like ordinary choices. Do you check for proof or check for breath? Do you decorate the silence with stories or let it be weather? Do you send warmth you can't afford or witness what is true and keep your shape? Each small covenant signals to your nervous system. We stay with us now. Each time you keep one, the hinges loosen, the handle turns, the door moves easier. If grief rises on the way through, let it. Tears that come without a story, are the body washing the doorway. If fear argues, give it a job. Watch my breath. Are we still here? If longing tries to drive, invite it to ride in the back where it belongs. You don't need to perform surrender to be chosen. You need to practice honesty until your body believes you. Honesty is coherence. Coherence is what love can live in. Crossing also changes the conversation with time. You stop threatening yourself with dates. You bless rhythm instead. Sleep that restores, food that keeps you present, movement that lets emotion complete. This is how you become a home instead of a hallway. Homes aren't loud, they are consistent. The field orients to consistency. The masculine can find a home. He cannot chase a moving hallway forever. Say one true sentence out loud as you stand in the doorway. I will not leave myself to be loved. Then add the coordinates that keep you reachable. I answer after my body speaks. I don't respond to urgency our connection didn't create. I choose contact that leaves us more regulated after. These aren't rules to police anyone. They are rails that carry you across. They make your love durable. What you bless stays. What you starve of fantasy clarifies. What you ground in your chest becomes readable to the person meant to meet you. He may arrive softly. He may repair slowly. He may practice being here in a way his old self never could. You'll know it's real not because voltage spikes, but because you don't need to recover from closeness. The room thickens, your breath lengthens, your future stops being a performance and starts being a place. And if it doesn't come today, you have not crossed in vain. You did not open a door for a man. You opened a door for a life. That life will meet you in 100 ways before anyone knocks. Sleep that truly resets you. Work that fits your spine. Friendships that don't require you to shrink. Mornings that don't begin with bargaining. Union is built out of these pieces. When he arrives, he fits into a pattern that already exists. If he doesn't, the pattern protects you. So take the breath that is here. Let your shoulders drop. Let your voice match a tone your body believes. Release the rescue script into the fire. Close the timelines that punish and keep the rhythm that nourishes. Then walk. Not dramatic, precise. The chase dissolves. The pressure falls away. Presence becomes the proof. Peace becomes the sign. And the field, finally sure of where to find you, moves in your direction. Cross the portal. Become the home. And if you feel it opening in your chest right now, leave a witness for yourself and for the next woman who needs it. Comment, "I'm crossing,"